Absolutely quiet on the Nifty, and on the Sensex, really not much moving at all. There's a bit of profit taking on Indiabulls Housing Finance. I mean, there are some trends you can spot. The week has been actually pretty good for the stock Indiabulls Housing. Right now, as we're getting into the weekend, there's some profit taking that seems to be underway over there. Otherwise, really not much moving. The OMCs, they have continued to defy gravity today, and most of them are still sitting on gains, 4% on IOC, BPCL, most of them on the upside. Let's get trading ideas then for the last half an hour. Ashwini and Mitesh are back with us. Ashwini, so I mean, you've retained a positive stance. What would you look at doing in the last 30 minutes? Okay, we don't seem to have our line through with Ashwini. So while we reconnect that, Mitesh, let me ask you the same question. Last half hour trades.
Yeah, one, I think carry positive trades. We've had a very subdued day, but see, look at the factor that this has happened after 2 days of very strong rallies. So I think there could be continuation on the Monday. The chances are more biased towards that. I have two long calls. Allahabad Bank is a buy with a stop at 44.75 for targets of 49, and a PTST in Castrol with a stop at 154 for targets of 158.
Okay. Well, we'll try and touch base with Ashwini in a bit. But in the meantime, Dipan Mehta is with us as well, Director of Elixir Equities. Dipan, hi. Afternoon. What do you do? What do you do in this market? You know, we've had a couple of really rough days, a couple of good days. You think for long-term investors, this is the time to be buying some of the quality names, or do you think you'll get better levels as we head closer to the elections?
I think I'll go with the latter. Maybe you'll get better values as you go towards the election. And that really is the problem in this market, that even investors who are waiting in the sidelines and they are perhaps convinced that these are good levels for blue chip companies, they are still waiting in the hope that if a bad election result comes, then in that massive selling which may take place post such elections, that would be the good time to buy into stock. So there's a bit of fear that you buy now and the same stock may be available 10-15% cheaper. And that's what's keeping many investors waiting. Could be institutional as well as Indian as well as foreign. So I would say that from an investment perspective, it's better to just wait and watch and see how the events unfold over the next 2-3 months or so, and keep the powder dry, to start firing and buying into the stock market once you see a massive correction on account of external factors. That could be politics, could be geopolitical, oil going up, anything. I mean, so it's just that there's just too much uncertainty in the market at this point of time to take the plunge and start investing.
Take the plunge and start investing. Okay, so that's the big advice. We're going to come back and ask you how to take that plunge in just a minute, Deepan. But let's complete the trading advice. We do have Ashwini back with us, I believe now. Ashwini, your trades for the last half an hour.
Well, I was saying that, the market not moving today is a good sign, because 10,800 has not been able to spoil the trend of the Nifty or even of the Bank Nifty. So it would still be a good idea to buy Nifty, Bank Nifty right now, because if we have a gap up because of some reason, you will have a fairly strong short covering day. Now, having said that, I think Raymond is a buy with a stop of 710, target of 735. Bharat Forge is a buy with a stop of 480, target of 515. And Dabur is a buy with a stop of 428, target of 445. And the way mid caps have moved, I think I wouldn't be surprised if you have another week of good mid cap movement.
Okay, another week of good mid-cap movement. Well, gentlemen, just stay on. We have about 20 minutes left before the market ends for the day and the week. Let's also get you some market opinion. Earlier in the day, we did speak with Gautam Chacharya of UBS Securities to get his sense on the market as we approach the big event, the general elections. In fact, he did a tour. He toured a couple of states up north to just get a sense of which way the wind is blowing. Listen into what he had to say.
One of the things we picked up there clearly is the 6,000 rupees scheme from the budget. So the implementation on the ground is on a war footing. So anywhere we went in Uttar Pradesh, we saw stacks of forms filled up. along with the document. So this scheme looks like it will be rolled out with a lot of seriousness in Uttar Pradesh. And the maths of Uttar Pradesh, if you look at the number of votes cast in 14, including for the BJP, and the number of farmers being targeted and the land records digitally available, suggests that this is meaningful. Now, whether the farmer actually votes based on this scheme or not is up for debate, but the scheme is for real, and this is a wild card definitely for Mr. Modi, definitely in Uttar Pradesh and possibly in other states.
So, do you think that this calculation that everyone is going with SP and BSP uniting, the BJP will be 40 seats down at least in Uttar Pradesh, is too much of an inductive leap? That's
the polar arithmetic of alliance, that if you add SP, BSP votes together, then even with BJP sustaining vote share, the maths is skewed towards the alliance. But there's obviously debate around vote transfer. The scheme is a wild card. And that's the thing which we have been pointing to investors, that this is the thing which will track for the next 15 days to 30 days, that if this gets traction at a local level, this could be similar to what we saw in Uttar Pradesh ahead of the assembly elections, where suddenly the narrative changed at the last minute.
So apart from this farm scheme, anything else that you spotted which could influence voting behavior over the next couple of months?
While there is no, we didn't get the sense of a wave like in 14 for Mr. Modi, but clearly Mr. Modi is the fulcrum of all debates. So even if there is no wave, the debate amongst the voters there, journalists there, politicians there, is all about Modi versus the others. So that debate is definitely relevant and at the center, which theoretically could help Mr. Modi, but again the alliance arithmetic is also very, very strong.
What are you telling your foreign investors? Are they worried that India's fisc is going for a toss in this competitive populism? Are you telling them this is only up to the elections and then good behavior will return? What's your message?
With the fiscal deficit goes up, remains in control, but any government which comes in, given the pre-election promises of support to rural India, either through farm loan waiver, minimum income support scheme, 6,000 rupees scheme, whatever, there will not be any fiscal space left, at least for the first year, to drive any sustainable economic activity. So in that context, we should not expect a meaningful boost to broader economic activity for the first year. Yeah, pockets like rural India, etc., should still sustain and do well. So that will help in stock picking, but not for the broader macro.
So how does that skew your choice of stocks, Gautam?
The capex cycle, we have been cautious. We don't see visibility of private capex coming back, and this competitive populism over the last 3 months makes the visibility even less. So all the industrials, infrastructure, capex, cement names still remain underweight. The rural focused sectors and stocks, but selectively, they should continue to do well in any political formation we see.
But apart from this farm scheme, what about the other campaigns that the government has been, going through with?
In general, a lot of these schemes has been reaching the poor, and there is awareness. Now, it's up for debate whether the Indian population or the poor population is willing to vote based on all these schemes or not. That we'll know soon. But it's reaching there for sure. The housing part, the gas part. The other interesting part which came out talking to both the Congress and BJP guys, that one of the most popular schemes from the government has been the Swachh Bharat scheme, which is not necessarily taking up too much money, but somehow has resonated well with the population.
So how do you position yourself as a long-term investor ahead of the elections? You know, you've talked about 4 scenarios: a BJP single party majority, a BJP-led coalition, a Congress-led coalition, and a third front coalition. Give us your expectations, if either of this pans out. What kind of extreme situation do you see from the market standpoint, and what would your base case be now?
So the markets are clearly anchored around the second scenario, which is BJP-led coalition. The only difference being 6 months back, the market's expectations were a stronger coalition. Now the anchoring is more around a weaker coalition. Having said that, if you look at the market multiples for the broad Nifty level, that doesn't tell you that the markets are pricing in for a negative election outcome. So the starting point of the markets does make us worried, and our risk reward framework still suggests absolute downside for markets from here. Obviously, if you have a more extreme negative scenario, then the markets can derate further and stay there for a while. So our base case for the Nifty is 10,000. So that's about 6-7% downside from here. That's a base case. The upside scenario is 11,300, 11,400. And the downside will be below 10,000 levels.